Hey everybody! Most of us like to travel. That's not surprising because you want to see different cities and countries that are different from each other. Visiting new places brings energy to a person, gives strength and a sea of new experiences. Traveling changes people. It's like you come back a different person after a new place. But while some cities bring positive emotions and a boost of energy, others are the opposite. There are many dangerous places in the world, both for locals and tourists. So it's better to be aware of such places and try to avoid them. Let's find out what are the most dangerous cities in the world. Let's go! San Pedro Sula, Honduras. The most dangerous city is steeped in violence and murder. Just imagine, every year there are 170 murders committed here for every 100,000 inhabitants. Local rules allow residents to freely buy and own weapons, which of course contributes to crime. It's a kind of drug capital where cocaine is packaged before shipped to the United States. Everybody knows it, but they can't do anything about it. It's dangerous to just walk down the street here. There is a known case where locals killed a tourist and took away a camera from him. Absolute anarchy reigns in this city, and several people are killed here every day. Corruption, drugs, and weapons rule the city. Caracas, Venezuela. The capital of Venezuela is considered the most dangerous city in South America. In addition, Caracas is not distinguished by any particular sites, beauty, or architectural monuments. There are practically no safe areas here. At any moment in broad daylight, you can be killed or robbed. The greatest danger is motorcyclists, the so-called motorizado. You get off easy if they just snatch your bag. In worst case, they can shoot you. In Caracas, things are not easy for tourists. There are cases when travelers were killed while leaving the airport or while checking into a hotel. In Caracas, the division of the population into rich and poor is very noticeable. Billionaires and thousands of people below the poverty line live here side by side. On the streets, power is in the hands of local gangs. Even the police are powerless. Over 100 police officers were killed in 2012 alone. Caracas is not only the capital of Venezuela, but also the capital of drugs and murder. Every year, there are over 24,000 murders committed in Venezuela. Tijuana, Mexico. It's another one of the most dangerous cities in the world. It's located on the border with the United States. The number of murders per population is enormous here. The first thing that catches your eye are the Indian-like slums. That's not surprising in the face of salaries being very low and prices are like in the United States. Acapulco, Mexico. Another beautiful resort city in Mexico is Acapulco. It's an excellent place for tourists to relax, but you shouldn't deviate from the tourist routes, because what you'll see won't please you at all. The local police are certainly no help to you. They're so mired in corruption and drug trafficking that you don't know from whom there's more danger, the local gangsters or the cops. There are over 100 murders committed per 100,000 people, and the city is steeped in violence and drugs. Once a beautiful city with amazing beaches praised by musicians and poets, today is known for its criminal history. Ciudad Juárez, Mexico. That's the third city in Mexico with the same problems, which are enormous numbers of murders, robberies, drug and gun trafficking. It is dangerous to walk down the street even in the daytime because you can run into a showdown of local gangs. Many police cars are constantly on duty on the streets of this city, although there are many werewolves among the police. Due to corrupt police officers, there is mayhem in the city. Locals have begun to leave the city in droves in search of a safer place to live. Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. Mahatma Gandhi once visited this city, and it was to him that a monument was erected in the center of Pietermaritzburg. Nevertheless, there is complete lawlessness going on there. People's rights are constantly violated, and there are thousands of homeless children on the streets. It is dangerous to be here even during the day. The city is considered one of the most dangerous in South Africa. Johannesburg, South Africa. It's another city in South Africa and one of the most criminal metropolitan areas in the world. Not so long ago, it became possible to come to South Africa without a visa and stay here for up to 90 days. But do you really need it? Feedback from tourists varies. Some claim it's very dangerous even during the day, while others say that such claims are greatly exaggerated. Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. This city has an extraordinary history. It is considered the capital of the descendants of cannibals. High levels of poverty and crime makes this city very dangerous for life and travel. Fortaleza, Brazil. It's another dangerous city with a high crime rate. Fortaleza is also called the City of Thieves. Even though it has picturesque beaches and beautiful architecture, the locals are increasingly leaving the city. Corruption, drugs, robbery, murder, and kidnapping have all become commonplace here. Cape Town, South Africa. Cape Town is arguably the most dangerous city in South Africa. Not a day goes by without murders, shootings, robberies, and assaults. The city is mired in poverty and unrest. If you decide to visit Cape Town, don't travel alone, don't take valuables with you, and do not deviate from the tourist routes. Karachi, Pakistan. The former capital of Pakistan is now a tenderloin. Lawlessness, corruption, crime, and political instability have made this city very dangerous. Any issue here is solved with guns or money. Human traffickers are hiding from the law here, and crazed fanatics can stage a terrorist attack at any time. In this city, no one is surprised by shooting in broad daylight. Mogadishu, Somalia. Due to the protracted civil war, half of the locals have fled this city. Every day there are shellings, bombings, kidnappings there, and there are not enough hospitals and doctors to help the wounded. Mogadishu is divided into two halves, with the southern half considered safer. To get from one part to the other, you have to pass through meticulous control. This border can only be crossed on foot. Here you will find no surviving buildings, and residents are forced to sleep in refugee camps or the ruins of homes. Maceio, Brazil. This resort city attracts tourists with its beautiful beaches, white sand, and marvelous scenery. But still, this is one of the most dangerous cities where 135 murders take place per 100,000 local people. The gap between rich and poor is enormous. Almost all the victims of crime are locals, not tourists. Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Street gangs rule this city. They collect taxes, and murder, blackmail, or torture awaits those who don't want to pay. Since the deportation of criminals from the United States back to their homeland, crime in the city has seriously increased. Criminal gangs compete with each other, doing wild and insane things. It's dangerous there, even during the day. There are more than 100 murders per 100,000 people per year. Baghdad, Iraq. The days when all was quiet in Baghdad are long forgotten. After the American occupation, the city has become the center of military events. Explosions, shootings, and skirmishes take place there every day. The shooting at residential neighborhoods has already become commonplace. Water and electricity in this city are supplied by the hour. Baghdad is littered with garbage and most of the city is empty. Cali, Colombia. The city is completely filled with bandits. Lawlessness and criminality reign here. In addition, there are guerrilla groups in Cali who are not happy with the government. Murders of locals have become the norm here. There are over 80 murders per 100,000 residents. However, it's a very beautiful city that attracts tourists. San Salvador, El Salvador. The city is dominated by two major gangs, MS-13 and Barrio 18. It is they who keep the residents and the entire city in suspense. The capital of El Salvador is simply swarming with criminals. They stage their showdown even during the day on the streets of the city. Detroit, USA. Detroit is considered the most dangerous city in the United States. As far back as the film RoboCop showed this city as very dangerous, where violence and crime reign. Almost 40% of the local population is below the poverty line. The city has a population of fewer than 700,000 people, in which there are 45 murders per 100,000 and over 2,000 beatings each year. Sanaa, Yemen. Another dangerous city where political instability has had the worst impact on people's lives. Crime has increased significantly. Here, no one is surprised by attacks, explosions, murders, and robberies. The city is simply dying from a lack of water and electricity. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Although there are not as many murders here as in other Brazilian cities, Rio de Janeiro is far from being a safe city. Here, you're almost 100% likely to be mugged. The crime rate has increased, hooliganism and robbery are on the rise. Every year, the number of robberies increases, especially phone thefts. But still, a lot of tourists come here every year. Most of them come to see the soccer championships and the statue of Christ. Of course, any city, even the safest, can be dangerous. In every city, there are places to avoid. Each of us needs to know which cities of the world it's better not to visit and choose safer routes to travel. Which city on our list impressed you the most? Write in the comments, give us a like and subscribe to the channel.